Meet the story of Alvarenga, the man who survived the longest as a castaway in the world. What seems like a movie apparently happened in real life to a man from El Salvador who lived as a fisherman in Mexico. In December 2012, Jose Salvador Alvarenga set out on a fishing trip with another fisherman named Ezekiel. At a certain point in the trip, a strong storm hit their boat, which was about 7.5 meters long, causing engine failure and leaving the two men adrift. With some details still unclear, the story of the Salvadoran castaway gained worldwide attention. He was found by residents of Iban Atoll in the Marshall Islands, along with his boat, which was already covered in barnacles. The fisherman, who initially identified himself as Jose Ivan, was rescued nearly naked, wearing only a torn pair of underwear, with long hair and a beard, and still somewhat confused. Jose Salvador, 37 years old, stated that he had set out to fish on December 21st, 2012, and described the storm. He said he survived by eating fish, birds, turtles, drinking rainwater, and even his own urine, while praying a lot. I kept my mind on God. If I were to die, it would be with God. So I was not afraid, he said. His companion, however, did not have the same resilience and succumbed to the desperate situation of being adrift, as he refused to eat in that way and died of starvation after a few weeks at sea, according to Alvarenga's account. He stated that he threw his friend's body into the sea and prayed for God to send him help and food. And so, his days and nights passed until he spotted land for the first time in over a year. The waves carried him to the shore of Iban Atoll, where he fell asleep. He said that when he woke up, he heard a rooster and two women screaming, who then went to seek help. After being rescued, the castaway was taken to the capital of the Marshall Islands, Majuro, on a 22-hour trip, where he underwent medical examinations, was properly hydrated, and received some medications. Upon his rescue, Jose was somewhat confused, unable to remember his own birth date, and provided conflicting information about when he had left Mexico. He was hungry, swollen, in pain, and extremely distressed. Based on a list of relatives' names that he provided to the authorities, NBC News contacted several possible family members of Alvarenga, who said they recognized him in photos. They stated they had not heard from him for years and feared he was dead. Despite his fragile state, the man was able to provide officials with details of his life, including the city where he was born in El Salvador, the names of his parents, siblings, a daughter, and his employer in Mexico. Some people doubt Jose Salvador's story, such as the Marshall Islands Secretary of Foreign Affairs, G. Bing. I still don't know if I believe the story. He doesn't look as thin as castaways we've seen in the past. I have doubts, she said. After investigations, his story was confirmed to be true. Years after the incident, the family of his fishing companion, Ezekiel Cordoba, accused him of eating the body of the 22-year-old after they were shipwrecked. Cordoba's family is demanding $1 million in compensation, according to Fox News Latina, as cited by the Huffington Post. The accused denies having eaten Cordoba's body, whose services he had hired for a 2-day fishing trip at sea. The Salvadoran denies the accusation and claims that at no point did he consider eating Ezekiel Cordoba's body. According to him, the young man had two final requests before he died. First, that Alvarenga not eat his body, and second, that he find his mother and explain what had happened. The survivor claims to have respected the young man's wishes and says that Cordoba had a seizure and died with his eyes open 4 months after the storm. This caused Alvarenga to take 6 days to realize his death, as delirium made him continue talking to the lifeless body. Once he truly understood what had happened, he did what he could to give his only companion the best burial possible. The fisherman emphasizes that he washed Cordoba's feet and dressed him in a red shirt with a skull and crossbones image. Alvarenga also reports that he fainted as soon as he cast the body into the water. The survivor's lawyer, Ricardo Cucalon, claims that the deceased man's family is financially motivated and cannot prove their allegations. Jose Salvador Alvarenga is earning royalties from a book published about his survival story. According to Cucalon, Cordoba's parents want a share of that payment and are using the lawsuit as a tactic to obtain it. So what do you think about this story?